Do you hear that? What's that noise?
I think there's a mob of people outside. I think they're chanting your name.
Really? My fans are here. What are they saying?
I can't make it out, but they also brought signs. Look.
Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, they did bring signs.
Yeah, that one says, apparently you're an idiot.
I get it. Apparently.
Oh, this is great. Oh, that one says statistically clueless.
Nice. Very clever. I like it. It.
Obviously wrong, Ben.
Right. Yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong for like a few days, but I was right for 2.5 months.
That one says, Ben, you're young and dumb.
What? Young? No, it says Jung. It says Jung
and dumb. I think they mean young.
Oh, like Jung, like Carl Jung. Well, you know what? I'm going to take that as a compliment because I'm old. I'm old and dumb. So sure. All right. Oh, who's the dumb one now?
Ooh, I like this one. Legally blind, if you couldn't see this coming, Ben.
Well, I guess I'm legally blind. Ooh, look at that one. Who asked you anyway?
I like that one. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, you're least of all qualified to talk about baseball. Ooh, they're getting personal, Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, who the hell let you on a podcast?
I did. I let myself because anybody can do it. Okay.
Oh, this one. Even Angel Hernandez makes better calls than you, Ben.
That's not funny. Bob, raise the drawbridge.
The Giants are rolling. The vibes are flowing. It's time for Giant Cocktails. Here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Welcome to episode 322 of Giant Cocktails. Ben, Hunter Pence had a .322 on-base percentage during his 8 seasons in San Francisco. His best season as a Giant was 2014, where he played 162 games, had 650 plate appearances, hit .277, was an all-star, and finished 11th in MVP voting. Forever Giant, Hunter Pence.
He also hit the ball twice in a single swing with his bat.
He did.
Yeah. He also eats pizza with a spoon. And he was recently at the Blue Lagoon in Iceland, one of my favorite places in the world. Folks, if you get a chance to go. If you get a chance to spend what little money you have left on the most expensive ways they have of staying there, do it. And don't worry about the volcanoes. They only have to evacuate every now and then.
Worth it.
Totally worth it. I'm not kidding. It's an amazing place. And it's totally man-made, which is even cooler because they dug way down in the earth, Matthew, to get really hot water so they could run a power plant.
Oh.
Yeah, those Icelanders, super smart. There's only 700,000 of them. It's amazing.
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
But Bob, it's a travel podcast.
Well, maybe someday. Maybe someday.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I tried to do another dry, like not so sweet cocktail, and but then 2 things happened. One is that the one I tried to make was crap, and 2, the Giants swept the Cubs, so we're back to sweet. I'm doing an original cocktail I'm calling Passionate Fan. Tell you all about it at the end of the episode.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Well, thank you for asking, Bob. That's very kind of you. Matthew, I think your flaw was that you tried to make a dry cocktail. And that's why it tasted like crap. What am I drinking today, Bob? I am drinking a cocktail that I'm calling The Guy in Left Field. And you can find out what is in the guy in left field, the cocktail, not the actual guy, at the end of the episode. And you will find out why I called it that before that. But you got to listen to the whole episode. Ha! See what I did there?
Yep. It will all make sense, folks.
Now you have to listen.
Hopefully they do. Our statistics say that most fans stay through the end of our episode.
They do. They start, like, the people who drop off immediately. Actually, you know when they drop off, Matthew?
When we start talking about cocktails at the end.
No, as soon as, well, yes, that is true. That's when 2/3 of you drop off. But at the beginning, most people drop off as soon as Bob opens his big fat mouth.
Oh.
Take that, Bob fans.
I don't get paid enough for this, he says. Yeah, right. You don't.
Exactly. You're scaring our listeners away.
Anyway, today, Ben, is Thursday, August 28th. As we record this podcast, we're recording on a Thursday because Ben's kids can't drive.
Wow, that could mean so many things. Let's not elaborate.
Okay. The Giants swept the Cubs this last 3 games to go 3-0 and bring their record to 66 and 68, which is 2 games below 500. Which, if you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you would know means, yes, homeostasis.
Exactly.
We are at homeostasis, Ben. We actually might not have to drink a Negroni.
I think I might not have to. I'm pretty sure I win if they finish at homeostasis.
Okay, and they have to be above homeostasis for me not to drink, right?
Yeah, we're really going to have to go back and listen to that.
We're going to go back and listen to that.
I don't even know what episode that was.
Before the season ends, we will figure out what the bet was. But there was a bet involving Negronis and homeostasis. We just can't remember what it was.
This was a really brilliant idea, Matthew, where you were like, and then we could tell fans what the progress is. But now, Matthew, we're so dumb, we even made it better. Because now it's just...
Are we dumb or are we genius?
Yes.
Exactly. Ben, the Cubs were the last team in the major leagues to be swept.
Oh, really?
Yes. Every other team in the majors had been swept before the Cubs this series. So
even the Colorado Rockies?
Even the Colorado Rockies have been swept, Ben.
Matthew, the Colorado Rockies have lost 8 games in a row 5 different times this season.
Oh, well, the Giants have done that too, right?
No, the Giants have only lost 7 in a row once.
Lies, he says. It feels like we've lost 8 in a row like every other week.
I can't even imagine what it's like. I got to go listen to Locked on Rockies some because, like, I can't imagine what it's like over there.
That poor guy, he's just talking to himself.
We've been miserable, right? Like, we've been absolutely miserable. How?
Absolutely.
How do they even? I don't know.
I don't know how they even, because I couldn't even.
I definitely couldn't even either, but anyway, point is, Matthew, we swept the Cubs.
We did. So we're going to talk about that today, of course. In-depth analysis of each game or, something along those lines. And for the second segment, Ben, we need to talk about Bryce Eldridge and the guy who's out there now.
The guy in left field?
The guy in left field. That's right.
All right. Let's do it. Eldridge night.
But first, some tidbits. The schedule came out for 2026, Ben. And the Giants play the very first game of the 2026 Major League season against the vaunted New York Yankees, which means a reunion with Carlos Rodon and Camilo Doval.
Camilo! I still love you!
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to open up that wound. I'm sorry. Sorry, Ben.
Camilo. I know.
But you have the whole offseason to get ready.
He doesn't like it there. That's why he's not pitching good. It's this nasty place full of nasty people.
There's like rats and
yeah. No, I just meant Yankees.
Really, really bitter millennials.
I just meant Yankee Stadium, Matthew. I didn't mean all of New York City.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I just meant Yankee fans.
Oh, all right. Sorry. But yes, so we're playing the Yankees to open up the 2026 and the Wednesday night game, which is the game nobody else plays on that Wednesday of opening day, just the Giants and the Yankees.
Wow. And it's where?
It's in Oracle.
Whoa, the Giants are starting the season at home?
Yes, and they're ending the season at home. They're getting the best of both worlds.
Well, that never happens. How did this happen?
Never happens. I don't know. I don't know. Buster knows somebody. That's what happened.
I think Buster knows everybody.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Wow. Cool.
But what's interesting is the Giants play on Wednesday, then they don't play Thursday.
Yeah.
Then they play Friday, Saturday, and they don't play Sunday. Very weird. Very weird. But then it goes into a normal schedule. So,
that's bizarro. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that's really going to screw with the Giant Cocktails podcast schedule. I'll tell you that. They didn't consult us, Ben.
Is it?
I just feel like it is. We have a little rhythm, like when the Cubs play on a Thursday, it's like really hard to kind of figure out.
Yeah, we'll record on Tuesday, or maybe we'll just make the Monday episode and then we'll just do our Thursday episode. We'll do it after opening day. I don't think this changes anything at all.
Okay, all right. Maybe you and I will be at opening day. Think about that.
Maybe we will. Maybe somebody will buy us tickets. Like you or me.
One of us is going to buy us tickets.
One of us is going to buy us tickets.
The other tidbit, Ben, the Giants started an outfield this week of Ramos, Gilbert, and Matos.
Yes.
And it was only the second time since 1980 that the Giants have had 3 starting outfielders that were 25 years of age or younger. And there's no one even close to them in that time with that number.
Yeah, and I think it was like the night before was the other game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Well,
but
I think it was like 35 years, like they hadn't done it at all since 1980. And the next closest team on the list was 21 games.
The Yankees, I think.
Yeah. And I was like, wow. If I keep saying it, it will be funny. It's astounding. It's astounding.
It means that the Giants hate young players.
Do you think they're counting the ball dudes in that? Like, is that why? So, like, when the ball dudes are out there, they bring the average age up or something, or is this just like a real thing? This is a real thing.
I think it's a real thing. Although I could see why you would think about the ball dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Giants just they have a thing against young outfielders, and so now, granted, they had like Barry Bonds in there forever, right? So. That drives up the
that does make it difficult. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's time to talk about the Cubs series. And Ben, last week we talked about how maybe it was Verlander's turn to pitch well again. At least I brought that up, and you said, "Oh no, they'll lose 2-1." Then
I said they were going to lose a perfect game. He was going to pitch a perfect game, but they were still going to lose, which is possible these days, Matthew. Because of the Manfred runner.
Yeah, 2 sacrifice flies or 2 fly balls, and all of a sudden you've lost the game.
Yeah, but you know what? It wouldn't be a perfect game because it's not a perfect game or a no-hitter if you lose, by definition.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would be historical, though.
It would be historical, and people would talk about it a lot. And I thought for sure that was going to happen, but instead he just pitched well. But it was I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
It was weird.
It was. I felt very off.
I'm sitting there like, okay, this is strange. Verlander's pitching well, and the Giants are actually scoring runs.
It was like his 23rd start of the season, Matthew, and it was just a normal game that the Giants won. And it wasn't even that close. It was just like normal.
There was no errors. No errors.
It's ridiculous.
And it was against a left-hander. So I was just my whole brain was just exploding. I don't. That part I don't believe. Don't make me go look at the box score. Don't do that. Don't bring me your. Matthew
don't bring
Boyd
your
is
evidence.
a left-hander. I will tell you that. Matthew Boyd is a left-hander.
Don't bring me your evidence. Forever Giant, Matthew Boyd.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Forever once. What could have been Giant?
Yeah.
Farhan special. Yeah,
that was a very good Farhan special.
Yeah, he took a flyer on an injured player. It didn't work out. But
we traded him.
That's right, we did.
For somebody decent, I think, but I'm not going to look it up.
I'm not either. I'm too lazy. Game 2, Ben.
Yeah, game 2. All right.
Now so once we were playing with house money by the time we got to game 2, because you and I were talking about how Verlander was a loss, Whisenhunt was the toss-up, and then Webb was the win. That was kind of the way we were thinking of it. And Whisenhunt, didn't pitch poorly, although I do have a little quibble about the home run he gave up. First of all, the man's been letting up a lot of home runs, and that can't keep happening, especially in the situation that it happened, because he had runners on second and third, and the reason there was a runner on second we'll get to later. But my point is that he could have pitched around the guy that hit the home run to get to the guy that he struck out on 3 pitches just earlier in the game.
But instead he grooved it.
He grooves a fastball right down the middle, and the guy tees off on it. And I just feel like those are the types of experiences that hopefully a young pitcher like Carson Whisenhunt will learn from, right? Like, you don't have to pitch at this guy when you have an open base and the guy coming up is somebody that you owned the previous at bat. You don't have to win every battle to win the war. And I feel like that's a learning. Hopefully that was a learning moment for him where he's like, okay, I could have just given into that guy and then taken on the next guy. And that's what's my thought. That's my thought on Carson Whisenhunt. I feel like we need see more smart players, but overall, he pitched a good game.
I think he did pitch a good game as well. I do think the home run thing is becoming a problem, and it needs to be addressed. But he was interviewed on the game before the game today, Matthew, as we record this podcast, and he said that the thought that he had immediately following the home run was not good. But then he settled down and then he's, I don't know, he said something rather cliche about, making his pitches or getting back in the zone or I don't know.
Locking in.
Attacking, whatever. And it was just like, but it did sort of give me the impression that it's sort of like, you need to think about every pitch. And that's what really interesting because, as I've been watching Verlander, pitch throughout all of these games, his good starts and his bad starts combined, one of the things that has really struck me about him, and this doesn't really come as a surprise, but it's just really interesting to see it, is he really does look like he's thinking about every pitch, right? Like every pitch, he's considering what he's going to do. And that might be pitch selection, that might be location, that just might be like, my mechanics are off or, what am I going to do because I don't have my normal stuff. But it really does feel like he's thinking about every pitch, and it did kind of seem like that moment got away from Whisenhunt, and maybe it wasn't maybe he should have been more thoughtful about that pitch. Or maybe he just missed a spot. But whatever, it ended up in the seats, and that's been happening way too much.
Well, and a Giant fan me is like, oh, that's the game.
Agreed.
Yeah, but it wasn't, because the Giants decided that this was going to be the game that they were going to open up a can of whoop ass.
Wow. Was this top shelf whoop ass, or was this like...
Oh, this was top shelf, because this is the second most runs they've scored all season.
Oh.
Ironically, the most they've scored was against the Cubs.
Against the Cubs! In the extra inning
when
game.
they had 9 against their bullpen in the 10th or 11th inning.
I think to be fair, it was one guy, Matthew. It was one guy from their bullpen.
Okay. Well, the Giants decided to reprise that role because they whooped up on them this time in regular innings, and it was fun to watch. Like the guys that are supposed to hit.
Yeah. Rafael Devers had his best game as a Giant. He was 4 for 4. Adames.
Adames went 0 for 4, but Chapman also hit his 200th career home run. I know you're looking up in the sky like, did he? But he did. He didn't get a hit.
When did Adames hit the clutch home runs? Was that game 1 or
that was game 3? That was the final game.
That was today?
Yes.
Seems like so long ago.
I know those noon games, man. They play with you.
Yeah, man. It was like that was like 6 hours ago.
First of all, I don't want to forget Devers though, because Devers, I feel like we've been waiting for him to get hot, and then when you pull back a little bit and you look at the month of August, Devers is Devers. He's hitting for the month of August. He's hitting 273 with a 379 on base and a 580 slugging, with a 168 weighted runs created plus. He's hit 8 home runs with 16 RBI in August. I think we're starting to see the Devers that we thought we were going to get.
Matthew, I'm going to remind you of something.
That Devers is an awesome baseball player? Is that what you're going to remind me?
No, I'm going to remind you of something that those of you who just want to pretend like the Roman Empire never happened and there's only 10 months out of the year. I want to remind you that there are God dang it. This would work so better if they'd sucked in August and July. But anyway, the point is, you and the Jung Lee apologists all want to pretend like June and July didn't happen.
It's not that I don't want to admit that they didn't happen, but I also know that we've signed this guy for like the next 9 years.
Yeah,
and so I'd like to make sure that we're actually getting a good baseball player, and it makes me feel good to see him actually hitting the way we thought he was going to hit. Yeah, it sucked that he didn't hit in July. It did. But man, it's nice to see that, okay, we didn't buy a lemon. We just got a guy that needed a little bit of a transition period. And unfortunately for the Giants, it happened at a bad time.
I mean, I do think there is a lot to be said about that transition period. I think that's what we saw with Willy Adames, right? I think Willy was just trying too darn hard in the first half of the season. And now we're seeing him. He's comfortable. He's settled in. I think for Devers, it was just that was a lot for any human being, that situation, right?
Yeah.
And so, I'm not surprised. This happens a lot when guys get traded or they sign a big contract with a new team. This is not uncommon at all. But it also doesn't happen. And so, but unfortunately it happened, and unfortunately it was more guys than Devers, but I think you're absolutely right. I think that the Adames and the Devers that we're seeing right now, are the real deal. Matt Chapman has been doing some things too, but that's just normal Matt Chapman getting streaky. So, I'm not going to I'm not going to get crazy here. But I think unfortunately, a lot of guys all went cold at the same time, but I think that was unusual. Right?
Yeah.
And I agree. I think this bodes very well for the future. Unfortunately, the future is next year.
Unfortunately. I mentioned briefly that Matt Chapman hit his 200th career home run in this game. There are 37 other players, actually 38 other players that have hit 200 home runs. Matt Chapman is currently tied with Trevor Story for, active players, 200 home runs. Some interesting names, Ben. Did you know that Jorge Soler has hit 203 home runs and is actually on that list?
Yeah, but he did that after he was a Giant.
And before he was a Giant.
Well, he did it. He did it before, after, and during he was a Giant, Matthew. Because all the home runs they account. But what I meant is,
it doesn't feel like he did enough of them while he was a Giant.
I agree completely. But what I'm saying is he passed the 200 mark after.
Yes, after. Yes. Yeah, a lot of interesting names on that. If you want to go look up the top, the current players who lead the home runs, it's a pretty interesting list.
A lot of these names just piss me off, dude.
They should, because they're names that have been tied to the Giants in one way or another. Or they were Dodgers.
Goldschmidt. Ugh.
Yeah, Freeman, Harper, Judge, Arenado, all these guys that have just tortured the Giants for all these years.
Schwarber. I just don't like him.
Yeah, okay. Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
I mean, because you like walks and home runs.
Game 3, Willy Adames, 2 home runs. Webby pitched like Webby. Jung Lee with the walk-off. That's why the hooligans were at your door tonight.
Yeah. Do you guys want me to bring up a list of all the losers who had walk-off hits? It's probably 1,000 players long.
Man, you're just doubling down on this thing, aren't you?
Yeah. I figure it's going to be my thing. It's going to be my thing. I'm going to be the one guy who doesn't like Jung Lee. Even though I secretly do like him. But everybody was just like, nobody was saying anything. They were all like, everybody was like, nah, we can't talk about it. We can't, because
He's been streaky. He's been up and down.
He's been
for sure.
No.
Yes.
The streaks do not last 6 weeks, dude.
Okay, but then explain this, okay? He's only the 5th Giant to have 30 doubles and 10 triples in a season. He's got a 105 weighted runs created plus on the season. I don't think he's as bad as you've been making him out to be.
Do you want me to go back and pull the numbers? Don't make me do it. I will find the worst absolute date, and it will be 6 weeks long.
I know you will, but I'm finding the best stuff because I know you wouldn't prepare. So 131 weighted runs created plus in August, Ben. And he ranks 15th in the majors and weighted runs created plus for center fielders this season. Minimum 250 plate appearances. And he's 13th in WAR with a 2.0. So ironically, what's holding him back is his defense, which seems kind of counterintuitive. But
really?
Anyway,
I thought that was the only thing saving him. Okay, Matthew.
Not according to Fangraphs. They don't like his defense.
Okay, so his OPS plus in May was 68, and his OPS plus in June was 53.
Okay, yeah, he had a couple of rough months.
But overall,
he's been a good player.
That's a third of the season, bro. And then he had a mediocre month in July. That's half the season.
All right. Do you know who's having a good month in July? Or August, I should say?
Wait. Before you move on. Matthew Boyd was not traded for anybody good. Michael Streifler and Andy Thomas. And if you go look at Andy's picture on Baseball Reference, he kind of looks like the saddest dude ever.
Oh.
But anyway.
Andy Thomas?
Andy Thomas and Michael Streifler. Both still in the minors. And both still doing it. I think Michael's in Richmond, and he's 29.
I'm not finding any Andy Thomas. Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, he does look sad.
He kind of looks like Patrick Bailey's sad little brother.
Yeah, needs to tame those eyebrows.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ben, you know a player that I don't care about their eyebrows? Bryce Eldridge. He could show up with the bushiest eyebrows ever, and I wouldn't care.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. I think.
JT Snow is also with you.
Oh, yes.
Because you texted me today while you were in the car listening to KNBR.
Yeah.
And the guys on KNBR had JT Snow on, and he had some thoughts on Bryce Eldridge.
So I was in the automobile, as one does, operating it for an extended period of time. And it was coming up on the baseball game. And so they were doing that thing on KNBR that they sometimes do where the host is at a place with, normal people like you listening to the show. And talking to a voice that I didn't know. It was weird. He was talking to a voice. I turned on the radio, and this guy was in the middle of explaining his relationship with Bryce Eldridge. And it quickly became apparent that the person was establishing context for the remainder of the conversation which they were to have about Bryce Eldridge. And it turned out to be JT Snow, whose voice I recognized. only later did they confirm that it was JT Snow, so I felt a little good about that. I know JT so well that I recognized his voice. He knows Bryce Eldridge so well that he talked about him for a long time. And God bless the host of the show, he just let JT go, and it was amazing, Matthew. First of all, he explained how well he knows Bryce Eldridge, and he says, I've spent about 3 weeks with him over a couple of visits. And he says, but he really wanted you to understand that he and Bryce really connected. Like, because Bryce was talking to him as a former Major League player, but in a different way than he would talk to his coaches, you know, because even though JT is officially a coach, right, you know, he's not always there. He's like one of those roaming guys. Yeah. So that was sort of the situation, right? And basically JT wanted to give you an impression that they got to know each other pretty well, that JT knows Bryce Eldridge well enough to understand his makeup. And so then the host asks him the important question, which is, should Bryce Eldridge be called up this year? And folks, I don't know the quote word for word, so I'm going to embellish it, but this is basically how it went. And no, I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to be funny, but also accurate. God, Matthew, I'm just realizing that it's really hard to like establish credibility on this show right now. Like how hard that is for me. Like I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm just
when we joke about things and we're drinking at the same time.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to let the fans know that I'm not making a joke here, but like I just
they're all like sure.
Yeah,
Ben,
like whatever.
Sure.
Okay. But anyway, look, this is how it went. He was like, so this is how he answered the question. Well, Buster, yes, I do. Okay, he didn't say it quite that vehemently, but folks, he felt that way. Because he talked and he talked and he talked about all of the reasons why Bryce Eldridge should be called up and has the makeup to do it and why it would be okay. He said things like, the Giants, these guys, they're not even in it. Just like these games don't matter. Like, he doesn't have to play every day. Call him up against the Rockies, but he should play every day then. He could play, he could start DH some, he could start first base some, and then he could just sit on the bench, and he had all of these reasons to get the experience, to, like all of these things. And I couldn't argue with him, Matthew, because one of the reasons that I keep thinking is like, what is the downside to bringing up Eldridge? And I just don't see any. There's no downside. Like, you might say, oh, but you're going to burn an option year. Like, folks, if we need all 3 of those option years and it becomes a problem, then Bryce Eldridge is not what we thought he was.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't need that. We don't need it. So that was like, but then he just kept going, Matthew. He just kept going. And he was like, heck, he's an outfielder. And I don't think that's true, folks. He was always a pitcher and a hitter. I think the kid even like he just played pitcher in high school and also hit. I don't know. But he said like he played some outfield and he was like, and this is where things really started to get interesting because he said, just put him out in left field. He'd be as good as or better than the guy who's out there now. And I was like, I literally yelled in the car, whoa, JT, shots fired.
Oh, shots fired at Heliot Ramos. Jeez.
The poor guy in left field. My goodness gracious. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong, but I'm just saying it was like, wow, there was a little bit of venom. There was a little bit of venom in there. But
I like how like he hemmed and hawed at the beginning of this answer, like he wanted to play the company line because he is getting paid by the Giants and he wanted to be a Buster like supporter. And then just his relationship with Eldridge just spilled out.
Matthew, I was more than halfway to my final destination by the time he stopped talking about it. It was at least 15 minutes. And it was one question the guy asked. And then he even talked about Devers and like the impact that signing Devers might have had on Eldridge. In a negative way, because then he said, because I'll tell you how I felt when the Giants traded for Andres Galarraga. Like, I started to question my role on the team. Folks, I hope somebody, like, recorded this and then plays it back, or somebody quotes us in a news article so you all know that I'm right, or that you heard it, but it was, like, crazy. I was like, whoa, JT Snow didn't like Andres Galarraga being on the team? Wow, that was 20 years ago. But Andres was a big pickup for the Giants and was a. But anyway, that was yeah. That's how Snow said he felt, and he was like, and so I feel like it's reasonable that Eldridge feels that way. He didn't outright say that I know he does, but his point was you got to like give him a bone, right? Give him something, like let him know that you still care. Buster.
Oh yeah. JT and I are on the same page because although I'm not so sure about the Heliot Ramos dig, but like I feel like I was listening to you talk about this.
It's in vogue, Matthew. Thinking, everybody wants to take a shot at Heliot right now in his defense.
Yeah, poor guy. And Buster said when he first became hobo. That he's in the memory making business.
Yeah, the memory of pissing me off.
Yeah, well, and I feel like he kind of gets it, but then he's like, this would be a key memory for Giants fans if they bring up Bryce Eldridge and give them what they want. The Giants are not in the playoff hunt. Bring Eldridge up and let fans get to know him a little bit. Let Eldridge get to know the fans and Oracle Park and all the things that is going to be important for next year. And, I run a business. It's a nonprofit business, but it's still a business. And whenever we're looking at doing something, like when things aren't going the way we want them, we always think, what can we do to make the customer happy?
That's right.
And I don't feel like Buster's doing that. Like, I think fans would love to see Eldridge, and here he is digging in his heels that he doesn't want to bring him up for whatever reason. And so I'm with JT on this one. Eldridge needs to get brought up. Now, he probably won't. But our friend of the podcast, Alec Pavlovich, interviewed Eldridge on Giants Talk this week. And Eldridge sounds like a very mature, very ready player, and he is tearing it up in Sacramento right now. There is no reason other than like Buster's like own biases not to bring him up when the 2 extra spots open up in 3 days.
Are you trying to convince me?
I'm just I know you're convinced.
I agree.
So I don't need to convince you.
I agree. And also, whenever you need to sell a product, you gotta get into what the young people are hooked into, Matthew. Have you heard of this game called Dangerous Places and Large Lizards?
Nope.
Well, they have this thing called the Eldritch Knight. And so I think you just have a Dangerous Places and Large Lizard themed night. You bring up the Eldritch Knight. You tap into what the kids like.
What does the Venn diagram look like of Giants fans and people who play this game?
It's me and Cole Kuiper.
Okay, so
I'm pretty sure
it's a very thin.
It's pretty sure. No. Me, Cole Kuiper, and Firmino. I said your name on the show, dude. Don't knock my cocktails to my face.
Oh. Speaking of knocking to people's face, so Heliot Ramos, I assume, wasn't listening to Kinber, but got knocked by JT a little bit, and I gotta think that
the guy.
I got to admit that it's a little deserved.
Okay.
And I wrote this I wrote this in our show notes before you even mentioned JT's comments. I wrote, Heliot Ramos is a good hitter, but is he a good baseball player? And I feel like that question isn't easy to answer. Or maybe it's too easy to answer. Because the man doesn't know the infield fly rule. He doesn't know what he's doing with the baseball once he catches it. Sometimes he doesn't know how to catch it. Like, baseball is more than just hitting. And I feel like, he's shown that he can hit a baseball, but he hasn't shown that he can do all the things. And that concerns me a little bit going into next year.
Look, I'm gonna defend Heliot here. Look, first of all, the guy doesn't trust his instincts, right? Like, he knows the game, he knows the sport, and he knows the right thing to think, but then he hesitates, and then he does the opposite thing. I think that describes a lot of his mental errors, right? There's always this moment of hesitation, this second thought, and you can see it happen.
Yes,
right?
you could see him double pump. You can see him like pump once and then just blindly throw the ball.
So he knows
like,
he knows how to play baseball, but he doesn't believe that he knows how to play baseball. Also, he's just not good at reading the ball off the bat, and that's just the way it is. Some guys aren't good at that, okay? Like, look, like, that's just the way it be. Like, not everybody's like friggin', Willie Mays. I don't know what people want here. They want perfection. It's like this guy was the most consistent hitter we had on the team the whole season, and suddenly that doesn't mean anything because a stat that you don't understand anyway says he's the worst in baseball or in the top 10 worst. Please, get over yourself. Like, nobody even knows what defensive run saved means.
I don't need a fancy stat to show me the eyeball test when he's just blindly throwing balls into the infield and allowing runners to like take extra bases. That's not good baseball. I don't care what the stats say. When I look at it, he doesn't know what he's doing. And it drives me crazy. And I like the guy. I really want to like him. And I love that he's a homegrown talent and that he kind of made it. He forced himself into an everyday role, became an all-star. I love all of that, but I also need him to be not an all-star, not Willie Mays. I need him to be a competent outfielder.
Do you?
That's
though?
it.
Do you need that?
Because you can look at all the stats on Baseball Reference and how many RBIs and all that, but he's giving up sometimes as many runs, if not more, than he's creating, and that's a problem. You got to catch the ball. You got to prevent runs from being scored. And he's not doing that.
I think no, what you're going to do is you're going to go out, you're going to get a better defensive outfielder who can't hit, and on the aggregate will be worse for you, but you won't be able to see it, so you'll feel better about yourself. That's what we want. We want a guy who actually makes the Giants worse, but doesn't make us feel so bad about it. Come on. Like, the guy's WAR is a positive WAR. Are there things he could do to get better? Yes. But, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here.
Oh, man. All right. I'm not throwing any babies out, but I volunteer to hit fungos to Heliot all winter long. He's got to get better at that. He's just got to. And he knows it because I heard that he was going to be working on that in the offseason. But he better come back a much better outfielder than what we've seen because he is hurting the team when he's out there.
Is he hurting the team worse or more than Jung Lee?
I feel like this is a trick question.
It's definitely a trick question, fool. Okay, they're close. They're close in B-WAR. I don't know what their F-WAR is, but Jung Lee is ahead of him in B-WAR. So, on that note, you got it right. Now, is it by a lot? No, it's not. They're both, not great. They're both better than replacement players. I will say that. They're both positive B-WAR. But the point is they both got to a very similar number through very different ways. Okay? And if you are this angry about Heliot Ramos, then you should be equally angry about Jung Lee. And so maybe that's what we represent. Maybe Giant Cocktails has got it right. But on Jung Lee, you're wrong. And on Heliot Ramos, you're wrong. No, that doesn't sound right. On Jung Lee, I'm right, and on Heliot Ramos, I'm right.
Okay.
No, I think I messed that up.
You probably did, but I wasn't listening.
I don't. Yeah, I meant to say that you're right and I'm right. We're both
right. Oh, that's a rare one. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think we should wrap this up, and we can argue about who's right again next time.
Sweet.
In the meantime, Ben, the Baltimore Orioles are coming to town, which is kind of a good thing because they have absolutely sucked this year.
Yeah, because their GM is a jackass.
And they were supposed to be one of the contenders in the American League East, and instead they are in last place in 60 and 74.
Yeah, but they got rid of their worst pitcher. They lost their best pitcher, and then they did nothing to replace him.
Nothing. And they've lost 4 in a row. They're 3-7 in the last 10. They are 29 and 37 on the road. So, there's a good chance that we could maybe take 2 out of 3 or sweep. If we take 2 out of 3, though, we finish August with a 500 record.
Wow. Okay. But where would that leave them on homeostasis?
2 games over homeostasis.
They would be 500. No. For the month of August, where would that leave them overall?
Oh, they would be
1 game, right?
one game
over
5. No, they would be one game under. I can't remember now.
1 game. They would be 1 game over homeostasis.
Yes. 1 game over homeostasis. One game under.
Nobody cares about 500, Matthew.
This is true. This is true. This is giant
They only
cocktails.
care about homeostasis,
Exactly.
coined by Matthew Henry, by the way.
That's right. Don't forget that.
A statistic invented by Matthew Henry of giant cocktails.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me credit. So we'll see,
welcome.
right? I don't remember who pitches, but
Well, it will. So we saw
Robbie Ray.
Verlander,
Robbie Ray will
Yeah.
open up on Friday. Friday. It's so weird to have this like weird, season. And then to be determined on Saturday, and then Justin Verlander on Sunday.
That would be the Kai Wei Tang spot.
Bullpen game.
Bullpen game. We're going to see a lot of Spencer Bivens in that game.
Tristan Beck and Carson Seymour and all of them. Yeah.
I will say this, Matthew. F-War, Jung is a whole game better than
Elliot?
Elliot.
That's
yeah.
surprising, but also supports my thesis. So
It does. It does support your thesis. Neither of them are like great, but like they're both better than a replacement player. They're both better than Grant McCray.
Okay. Well, yes, they are.
Well, I mean, that's what people want, it sounds like. They want Grant McCray instead of Heliot Ramos, because at least you'd have a good outfielder, good defense.
I want Heliot Ramos to play better defense. That's what I want. I don't want another player. I want Heliot Ramos to improve his game.
What do you expect him to do, practice?
A little bit, yeah.
I really feel like doing an Allen Iverson impersonation right now. Bob, stave me.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
Yes, thank you for saving Ben, because we're talking about practice.
No, we're talking about baseball.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Thank you, Bob. Yes, we are talking about baseball, but we're also talking about cocktails, and my cocktail was called the Passionate Fan. What's in a Passionate Fan? Well, it's got 2 ounces of gin, 3/4 ounces of passionfruit syrup, and the brand that I'm using is called, you can find it like in Whole Foods, it's called Small Hand Foods, 3/4 ounces of lemon juice, and 1/4 ounce of Lilet Blanc. You're going to shake all those ingredients with ice, strain it into a chilled coupe glass, and garnish it with a lemon twist. You get a really nice, delightful, passion fruit forward sour. So that's what I'm drinking, Bob. A Passionate Fan.
That's a tasty cocktail.
Yes, it really is. I'm glad I did it because, enough with those dry drinks.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Well, thank you for asking, Bob. That's very kind of you. Today, Bob, I'm drinking Heliot Ramos is an awesome ball player, and JT Snow has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to the guy in left field, but otherwise is totally correct about Bryce Eldridge, a.k.a. the Eldritch Knight TM, either by Ben Henry or Watsy. I'm not really sure if they own the rights to that name. And yes, that is the official title.
That's a really long cocktail name. I don't know if you can fit that out of
It is a really long cocktail name, but I originally called it The Guy in Left Field. And what's in The Guy in Left Field? Well, it has 1.5 ounces of rye whiskey, 1/2 ounce of cherry Heering liqueur, and then 3 to 4 ounces of ginger beer, because I like sweet cocktails. Put all of that into a highball glass with ice. Take 1/4 of a lime, squeeze that over the top, and then chuck that lime wedge into the glass. Give it a gentle stir. And that is how you make The Guy in Left Field. Is that what I called it?
Yeah, the guy in the field.
The Guy in Left Field, a.k.a. Heliot Ramos is awesome.
That's a tasty cocktail.
It is tasty, Bob. It's just as tasty as Jung Lee. You just don't like it because you can see the bad parts. For somehow you can't see all of the weak grounders to second base. You just see he caught a ball between his knees. And that's a wrap. thank you for joining us. We will be back on Monday after the Giants either sweep or get swept by the Orioles. It feels like it's going to be one or the other, right? Like, doesn't it, Matthew? It's going to be one or the other.
It feels like they're going to sweep them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because you forgot that it's 2025. But if you can't wait until then, you can find us out on the social medias where we go by the name Giant Cocktails. That includes YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, comment, and watch a 45-minute video of our logo while our voices play over it. But, most importantly, you can find us on Apple Podcasts or Free the Eldritch Nightify, where you can leave a review. Like a 5-star positive review. Because if it's not 5 stars positive, Matthew will be sad, I guess.
Very sad.
Matthew.
Yes?
That guy in left field is really intoxicating.
I'm noticing.
Guy, I'm lost right now. I'm lost. Anyway, it was great talking San Francisco Giants with you. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Ben. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye!
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
I do like this Jung Lee Heliot Ramos comparison, though. This is quite good. This is quite good. If you're anti-Ramos, you're anti-Lee. You have to be. You have to be.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like, look, these two guys got to the same place in totally different ways.
I think they just both need one more season of seasoning. Maybe by next year, they're going to be competent, really good baseball players, and the Giants are going to win the National League West. You heard it here first, folks.
Okay. Well, yeah, because the Eldritch Knight's going to hit 45 bombs.
Exactly.
While Rafi hits 50.
Yeah, right.
And Willy's like, hits 32.
The Bay Area Bombers, yeah. Bay Area Bombers.
Yeah,
the Bay Bombers,
exactly.
Bay Bombers. I don't know. I'll work on it. I'll work on the name.
All right, you do that. I think it should include the words Bay Area and Bombers.
Okay. I'll work on that. All right.
All right. I think you can figure it out.
Bombers Area Bay.
Yes. Good job.
Thanks.
Good job.